This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. Up to $2,000 bonus stimulus checks are going out to certain Americans to let you know who's getting those. And mortgage prices are at a 20-year high as gas prices are back on the low, but it may or may not be the help of President Biden. I'm going to give you the Republican perspective on that, and I'll also give you President Biden's latest speech saying how he's going to make prices even lower, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates. So I was able to make it on the flight. I just got to New York for a wedding. I got wheeled around the airport, which is the first time for me. I still can't put any weight on my foot due to my ankle injury. I'll give you some more updates later on in the video, but first, housing starts tumbled in September as rising mortgage prices cool demand. So yeah, mortgage prices on the rise, and it looks like the housing market is not crashing, but it's shifting. It's now more of a buyer's market compared to a seller's market, as U.S. mortgage rates reach 20-year highs. So I think the latest number I saw here is 6.94% for a 30-year fixed rate, which is a lot higher compared to 6.81% a week earlier. So yeah, mortgage prices on the rise, which means people are going to have to pay almost double their mortgage payment compared to maybe like a year ago when it was down to like 3% or so, or even lower. So because of that, people aren't going to buy as many houses, and this is going to affect a lot of other industries as well. It's not going to be a crash, but definitely going to be some big changes as average long-term U.S. mortgage rates rise this week to 6.94%. This is due to the Fed increasing the rates and doing that, and as a result, those rate hikes get passed on to the consumers. We're seeing this with credit cards, anytime you need to borrow a loan, cars, or anything like that. And we're going to start to see a domino effect. So what is being done about it? Well, President Biden, in terms of oil, Biden says oil companies should ramp up production and cut prices at the pump instead of buying back stock and paying dividends. So what he said here is my message to, or actually, I'll play the video clip of what he says, but profits at 6 largest publicly traded oil companies topped $70 billion in the second quarter. That's just profits. Adding in the first half of the year, those companies spent $20 billion on buybacks. Basically, a buyback is when they take that profit, put it into their stock, basically buying their own stock, and it raises the price of the stock itself. So, you know, what if that $20 billion, instead of going into buybacks, went to save made the price lower for gas, which is kind of what President Biden is saying. But I'm going to give you the Republican perspective on that in just a moment. But first, here is President Biden's speech.
Good afternoon. Earlier this year, because of Putin's invasion of Ukraine, the price of oil and gas increased dramatically. And I acted decisively at the time, and thanks in part to those actions, the price of our gas has fallen to 30% from the summer highs. Now, it's down about $1.15 a gallon from their peak during the summer. Gas prices have fallen every day in the last week. Let me repeat, gas prices have come down, and they continue to come down again. They're now down more than 27 cents a gallon in Wisconsin this past week, 27 cents in Oregon, 16 cents in Ohio, 25 cents in Nevada, 17 cents in Indiana in just the last 10 days. And that's progress. But they're not falling fast enough. Families are hurting. You've heard me say it before, but I get it. I come from a family, if the price of gasoline went up at the gas station, we felt it. Gas prices hit almost every family in this country, and they squeeze their family budgets. When the price of gas goes up, other expenses get cut. That's why I have been doing everything in my power to reduce gas prices since Putin's invasion of Ukraine caused these prices to spike and rattle international oil markets. Excuse me. I focused on how we can protect American families from that spike and give folks just a little bit of breathing room, as my dad would say. Today, I'm announcing 3 critical steps that my administration will take to reduce gas prices at the pump. First, the Department of Energy will release another 15 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, extending our previously announced release through the month of December. Independent analysts have confirmed that drawdowns from the reserve so far have played a big role in bringing down oil prices, bringing them down. So we're going to continue to responsibly use that national asset. Right now, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is more than half full, with about 400 million barrels of oil. That's more than enough for any emergency drawdown. With my announcement today, we're going to continue to stabilize markets and decrease the prices at a time when the actions of other countries have caused such volatility. And I've told my team behind me here to be prepared to look for further releases in the months ahead if needed. We're calling it a ready and release plan. This allows us to move quickly to prevent oil price spikes and respond to international events. Secondly, we need to responsibly increase American oil production without delaying or deferring our transition to clean energy. Let's debunk some myths here. My administration has not stopped or slowed U.S. oil production. Quite the opposite. We're producing 12 million barrels of oil per day. And by the end of this year, we will be producing 1 million barrels a day more than the day in which I took office. In fact, we're on track for record oil production in 2023. And today, the United States is the largest producer of oil and petroleum products in the world. We export more than we import, and I've heard from oil companies that they're worried that investing in additional oil production today will in case demand goes down in the future, and they're not going to be able to sell their oil products at a competitive price later. Well, we have a solution for that. Today, I'm announcing a plan to refill the Strategic Petroleum Oil Reserve in the years ahead at a profit for taxpayers. The United States government is going to purchase oil to refill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve when prices fall to $70 a barrel. That means oil companies can invest to ramp up production now with confidence they'll be able to sell their oil to us at that price in the future, $70. Refining and refilling the reserve at $70 a barrel is a good price for companies, and it's a good price for the taxpayers, and it's critical to our national security. To put it in context, since March, the average price of oil has been more than $90 a barrel, the highest since 2014. By selling from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve at the higher price of $90 earlier this year and then refilling it in the future at a lower price around $70, we'll actually make money for the taxpayers, lower the price of gas, and help bolster production, all while totally consistent with my commitment to accelerate the transition to clean energy. So my message to oil companies is this: you're sitting on record profits, and we're giving you more certainty, so you can act now to increase oil production now. The third thing I'm doing is I'm calling on oil companies to pass the savings on to consumers. Consider this: in the second quarter of this year, profits at 6 of the largest producers, publicly traded oil companies, were more than $70 billion. That's $70 billion in just one quarter, 90 days, $70 billion. So far, American oil companies are using that windfall, the windfall of profits, to buy back their own stock, passing that money on to their shareholders, not to consumers.
So President Biden released oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is just for emergencies, a hurricane, although hurricane season may be done with, but any other emergencies, we don't want to use all that up, because then if an actual emergency happens, what are we going to do? So gas prices are heading down with or without Biden's help. So as soon as we got the OPEC news, looks like President Biden and the administration were doing anything to try to get the price lower, and the national average stood at the latest $3.85 a gallon as a national, down 2 cents from Tuesday and 7 cents from last week. So the price is going down, but is it because of President Biden? Take a look at this video clip right here from the Republican perspective.
Okay, the White House is getting criticized because they put out a tweet that basically undercut the president's claims of price gouging by mom and pop gas stations. Let's show what happened. Watch this.
When the cost of oil comes down, we should see the price of the gas station at the pump come down as well. But that's not what's happening.
Congressman, when you see it, it does go in lockstep. When oil goes down, gas prices go down. When oil goes up, gas prices does go up. I mean, the White House even tweeted out those fever lines.
Yeah, and so what you need is more oil so that the price of the barrel goes down, and once the price of the barrel goes down, you see that relief at the gas pump. I don't understand what the president doesn't understand.
I mean, the margins are so tight. So they're blaming gas station owners. They make profits off of what they sell, like pretzels and potato chips. That's possibly why Circle K in Florida is letting its gas stations there sell marijuana. I mean, we had the federal, you know this too, Congressman, you've talked about it. The Federal Trade Commission has never found price gouging by gas station owners in multiple probes since even after Hurricane Katrina in 2006.
Yeah, they just follow. Look, it's market forces, and it's a global market, and they have to buy the gas at a certain price. And like you said, the margins are really small. The margins stay the same whether the price of the price that they pay goes up or it goes down. The margins stay the same, but we get the benefit of decreased prices as there's more supply. The problem here is this war that the Biden administration has declared on the fossil fuel industry here in the United States for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Not only are we hurting Americans, we're also hurting our allies, because now they're looking at blackouts and cold winters. And cold actually kills people 15 to 17 times more than heat does. And so this is inhumane. This entire green energy, green policy, Green New Deal stuff that the Biden administration is pursuing and trying to force us into this is actually inhumane. It's going to kill a lot of people, and it's hurting the Americans in their pocketbooks every day.
And by the way, I'm so sorry, let me correct. It was Hurricane Katrina was in 2005. Congressman, the president's strategy of draining the U.S. safety net, the strategic reserves, to artificially lower gas prices, oil pros say that's unsustainable. OPEC could wipe it out with another cut. But Biden is saying OPEC is manipulating prices. The White House is out with diverging mixed messaging in oil and gas. As to your point, they avoid how their so-called transition to green energy does mean higher costs for working and middle-class families. Let's watch this.
We're asking the industry today, tomorrow, to start increasing production.
No more drilling on federal lands, no more drilling, including offshore, no ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel. I would transition from the oil industry, yes, and I'd stop giving to the oil industry. I'd stop giving them federal subsidies.
Have you ever heard them say, when they talk transition, what transition means for working and middle-class families when it comes to costs?
No, they never do. It's just this. They worship at the altar of this green energy policy, of the climate change, orthodoxy, and no matter what it takes, we're going to get there. Except what they don't understand, apparently, that this is a worldwide issue, and that we're doing really well here in the United States. Other countries aren't doing very well, and that we're going to need fossil fuels for the next 50, 70, 100 years. That should be American fossil fuels, because we produce it 20 to 30% cleaner than the rest of the world. So even for environmental purposes, we should be enhancing American oil production and gas production. We should be doing that to help us Americans here at home. And we also should be doing that to help our allies overseas that are now looking at, suffering through this winter because, they don't want to use or their gas supplies have been interrupted, by the Russians.
What are your thoughts on that? Played you the speech from President Biden, then you heard the Republican congressman's point of view. Which side are you with, or is it a mixture of both? Let me know your thoughts on that. And let's get into stimulus. So 5 bonus checks worth up to $2,000 available to more than 1 million Americans. Are you eligible for the money? So Augusta, Georgia is rewarding city employees who worked during the pandemic up to $1,000. So full-time city workers qualify for $500. Part-time workers got $250. Full-time workers in certain groups would receive a total of $1,000, while part-time workers got $500. So then also in Connecticut, basically workers are getting up to $1,000 checks in Connecticut. Those who worked with infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and for individuals, the check's worth up to $1,000 for full-timers, $400 for part-timers. Then in Florida, first responders got $1,000 bonus checks there, as well as teachers got checks, and it kind of breaks down how much time, like if someone worked 20 hours per week, they got $500. 30 hours per week, they got $750. 40 hours per week, they got $1,000. So those are the different checks in Florida. And then the Minnesota checks, which were originally $750, but because there were more workers who were deserving of it, they got $487. And then in North Carolina, the Wake County Public School System, they got, or the plan got approved to give checks up to $2,000. So this is K through 5 teachers eligible for $2,000. They'll get $1,000 once they achieve. There's like different levels of it, but basically, it could be as low as $500 and as high as $1,000, or as high as $2,000. There's different bonuses, different tiers there. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I'm going to give you the 5 positive tips to make you start your day and make you be positive and grateful as much as you can. So first, stay happy, stay strong, and have good vibes, and do great to others when they do great to you. And also, you know this one, be nice to others when you be nice to them. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all your support. So yesterday was a mission to get to the airport, to go through the airport. I was actually wheeled around in the wheelchair, and yeah, it was painful all day because, yeah, if you weren't aware, I injured my ankle playing pickleball. Doctors are pretty much saying it's a fracture. I have to get like a CT scan when I get back to Myrtle Beach, but yeah, it's not looking good. Still can't put any weight on it, so going through the airport was really tough. Yeah, at least having my foot down. Usually I'm used to having my foot elevated. It feels much better. When it's down, it hurts a lot. But anyways, made it here. Have the cocktail hour tonight, wedding tomorrow, so I'll keep you updated on all that. And I'm just going to be sitting with my boot on, my stabilizing boot, and in crutches. So hopefully you have a great rest of your weekend. If you want to check out any of my other videos, my other channels, click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.